The Souls games have something about them that always keeps bringing me back to them. I constantly find myself replaying the games in the series and going back to them to have that experience again. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to talk about the things about each Souls game that always brings me back to them. So pretty much just my favorite things, or the things I like the most about them that I replay them for. I'm not going to be including Demon Souls because I don't really play it that often, but probably my favorite thing about the game would be the level design and atmosphere. Also, Sekiro won't be in this video because I haven't finished the game yet. So the first game I'm going to talk about is Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 has a lot of really great things about it that I like to go back to, and also some stuff I don't like as much. Pretty much the main thing I go back to this game for is the first half and some other parts too, but definitely the best part is the first half of the game. The first half has of course some of the best level design of any game. People always mention the elevator from Undead Parish to Firelink, but I also want to mention that the whole Darkroot Basin, Darkroot Forest, Undead Parish, and Undead Burg area is connected, along with the Valley of the Drakes being connected to the Darkroot Basin. I was replaying Dark Souls recently, and it was so cool to plan out my route to get to where I needed to go, taking advantage of all the shortcuts there are. The atmosphere of these areas is also amazing. The Darkroot Garden and Basin is one of my favorite looking areas in the series. Blighttown is also super cool, and so is the area it connects to, that being Ash Lake. You can take the Great Hollow down to Ash Lake, preferably after you have the Lord Vessel so you can teleport out, and you get one of the best views and really just one of the best moments in the series. You climb down this tree that's pretty much at the bottom of the world, and it goes even deeper into this beautiful beach with a ton of other trees in the distance, and you wonder if each of those leads to another world just like Lordran. The music is also amazing in Ash Lake, because it's one of the few times there's music besides boss fights. It really adds to the feeling of this area being something special and unique. Next is Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 gets a lot of hate, a lot of which is deserved, but it does a lot of stuff right, one thing being the atmosphere. Dark Souls 2 has the second biggest variety in area designs and color palettes behind Elden Ring. There are so many different types of areas in this game, from the sunset of Majula to the rain at Drangleic Castle to the Shrine of Amana, all having their own unique atmosphere and feeling. The bosses are also something that I like about Dark Souls 2. There are a lot of bosses that are just knights in armor, and I know the game kind of gets hated for that, but I actually like it. Knights are fun to fight. Life gems are also something that's really cool about Dark Souls 2. Life gems are different and provide some strategy because they don't heal super fast. Estus is still a thing, but having life gems as well is pretty cool. The fashion in Dark Souls 2 is also really great. There are so many cool armor sets to experiment with and mix and match with. Bloodborne has really great level design and atmosphere, as well as combat and bosses for the most part. The first few levels of Bloodborne, just like Dark Souls 1, are so much fun to explore, and they're quite interconnected too. Central Yharnam and Old Yharnam are honestly just great, but there's a part of the game that I like even more. It's the part when the time of day changes from like the sunset in the beginning, like in Central and Old Yharnam, to the nighttime. I'm not sure exactly what triggers this point, but it's around the Hemlock Shrano Lane and Forbidden Forest area. I absolutely love the atmosphere of these areas with the sun being down. It's honestly just such a vibe that the other games never really capture for me. Of course there are other levels that are great in this game too, like the Snowy Castle, and the boss fights are pretty good too, like the Shadows of Yharnam. Even just the combat going from level to level or area to area is so good. Dark Souls 3 is next, and the best thing about this game is of course the boss fights. Dark Souls 3 is great to return to because I can go through the game pretty fast and get to the boss fights quickly. It's really nice to just do a quick playthrough or just continue from another playthrough and just relax and fight the bosses. There's something about it that's just relaxing when I put on a show or a YouTube video and just chill. Honestly, that's pretty much it. My favorite part of Dark Souls 3 is just playing it through and fighting the bosses. Sometimes I experiment with different weapons, but yeah, that's about it. For Elden Ring, one of the main things that keeps me coming back is the build variety. There are so many different builds, weapons, and spells you can use in this game. It's actually kinda crazy. This has by far the most variety of all the Souls games, and it's a blast to try out all the different builds there are with all the different weapons, spells, and talismans. There are honestly so many things to try out, it could keep you playing for a very long time. Another thing that is really great about Elden Ring that's nice to go back to is the world. The world is just beautiful, and it's so nice to return to all the different regions and see all the different types of landscapes and sceneries. The bosses are also something I like about returning to Elden Ring. Elden Ring has a lot of great boss fights. Of course, it's nice to go back and fight them again. Also, something about them is that a lot of them have a lot of great build up to them. The levels before them are tied into the theme of the bosses, like Godrick, Rennala, or Rykard. Radahn also has a great build up with the festival and talking to all the NPCs. Morgott has a great build up by climbing up the Erdtree, and in the DLC, Bale has a great build up with the mountain, and the fight itself is amazing too. The other things I said are nice, but really the main thing about returning to Elden Ring is all of them and just getting wrapped up in or absorbed by the game. Elden Ring can totally absorb you or immerse you in its world, which just feels so much fun. The NPCs, the world, and the atmosphere are all just a blast to get lost in. So yeah, that's really about it for the video. Let me know what your favorite part about each Souls game is. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, a like or subscribe would be appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.